Hello and welcome to Your New Jersey. I'm Marie Falbo. On today's show, we find out how Table to Table feeds our neighbors throughout the state to help solve food insecurity. Heather Thompson, Executive Director, joins us to tell us more. But first, Fred Castrovinci, New Jersey Regional President of Commercial Banking at Valley Bank and proud Fairfield resident, joins us to talk about Valley Bank's community involvement within the Garden State. Fred, welcome to the show.
Lisa, thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, this is long overdue because I've wanted to get you on here since the beginning because you do so much here in the Garden State in bettering the community. Before we get into all of that, though, tell us about Valley Bank and how you got your start.
So Valley Bank is a nearly 100-year-old organization founded with deep roots in New Jersey, actually Passaic, New Jersey in 1927, with nearly 230 branch offices across 6 different states and approximately 3,800 employees. So I've been at the bank for 23 years. I've grown up here at the organization. I've evolved as the bank has evolved. I started right out of college after graduating from the College of New Jersey. I'm sure you're happy to hear that. And I've been in various roles from consumer lending to retail banking to business banking, automotive finance, and more recently, I'm the New Jersey Regional President of Commercial Banking and Business Banking for New Jersey.
So as you have evolved, so has Valley, though, because you really are a household name at this point here in the Garden State.
Yeah, it's a real pleasure to see and be part of that evolution. Our headquarters is now in Morristown, New Jersey. This was a huge accomplishment when we moved in 2023. Morristown is really a vibrant community, rich history, great transportation, local restaurants, arts, you name it, it has it. And a lot of other organizations are now moving into town. And this really connects us very, very closely with the community.
Fred, you mentioned what a vibrant community Morristown is, and that's reflected inside your doors at your new headquarters. Tell us what it features.
Our headquarters is a 6-story ground-up construction building filled with collaborative spaces, filled with a feeling of deep history, commitment to customers and our communities. At the same time, you feel the evolution of the bank and the newness that's just there, that's based on investment in technology, investment in culture, investment in people. And in the ground floor of our building, we have there's a coffee shop called Ethan the Bean. It's a local nonprofit that runs their franchise there, and it's run by individuals with developmental disabilities. And by the way, the coffee there and the lattes are fantastic. So we're really proud to have that featured, and it's now become a destination for the local community.
So talk about some of the causes and initiatives that Valley Bank employees are involved in.
Community Food Bank of New Jersey, we dedicate a lot of volunteer hours there. And then even on a more local level here in Morris County, the Interfaith Food Pantry or Table of Hope. So we give all of our people paid volunteer time off throughout the year, and they leverage that. In 2023, we've volunteered over 13,000 hours collectively as an organization.
Wow, that is amazing. Being involved in so many different community initiatives, how has that helped you in business?
Number one, it starts with people and relationships and showing that you care. We first have to connect on a values level, on priorities, on the needs of the communities, the needs of businesses as they're growing, whether they are at the infancy stage or at the legacy planning stage. But connecting in an authentic way, showing that we care, following up, and executing on all the simple things is really who we are. And that's led by example when we look at our top executives of the organization as well.
And you are involved in so many different things, I guess inside of the bank and then outside, in your personal life. Talk about some of the organizations that you are tapped into.
Happy to do that. I am on the board of the Fairfield Police Foundation. As you said before, I'm a Fairfield resident. My kids go to the school system there, and me being involved in that organization, again, keeps me, number one, helping the people that are keeping us safe. Number two, it keeps me closely tied to the business owners who are vested in the community, and really the people that live in town. Beyond that, I also coach wrestling with my young boys, and I'm also on the board of the Essex Valley School, which is a school out of West Cornwall that helps children and youth with behavioral and social needs.
That's so beautiful. And all of that you're talking about, it really, I know this is a core value of Valley, that 360-degree look at a relationship. I mean, yes, you're providing a service and finances are so important, but you're also feeding the soul too.
The impact is so far beyond what I do as a senior leader of the organization. I really have to give a shout out to our frontline leaders and employees who are all even more active than I am on a volunteer basis, on the basis of joining a board or committee of a local nonprofit. And through that engagement, they're pulling teams in together, and they're pulling in leadership to say, hey, we need to be part of this organization. We need to volunteer. We need to be part of their events. And by the way, we're also going to serve all of their banking needs, deposits, lending. But beyond that, when you describe the 360-degree relationship, that means that we're also providing a full suite of resources to not just the organization, but their employees and also their consumers or their customers. And I can only speak on behalf of Valley and the fact that our people really, truly care. And we are constantly finding new ways that we can engage.
Fred, this was so much fun. Make sure to say hi to Gary and RJ for me at Fairfield Police Headquarters. Where can people find out more about you and Valley Bank's community initiatives?
On any of our social media platforms, valley.com is our website. You can connect with me on LinkedIn, and you can also see where we're being engaged with all of our community organizations, what we're doing within the bank, and all the local markets that we serve.
Fred, I'm so happy that we came together here today, and thank you so much for all the work that you do locally in the community and for everything Valley is doing, not just for everything you mentioned, but for Alzheimer's disease awareness, women's issues and causes. I had told you off camera, Valley Bank was very prominent in an event that I'm on the board of, Let's Talk Women's Health and Wellness, that happens every year at NJPAC, and it's just so amazing to see the support that Valley gives on such a grassroots level. You know, it's not just signing a check. You guys are there in the trenches, getting everyone involved, invested, and it's so appreciated.
Thank you. It's our pleasure. It's my pleasure, and we will continue to show up.
Thank you. New Jersey's first food rescue organization, Table to Table, is rescuing and delivering food to hundreds of partner agencies in Bergen, Essex, Hudson, and Passaic counties. Heather Thompson, Executive Director of Table to Table, joins us now to share more about their mission. Heather, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here.
We're so happy to have you here. So what sparked the idea to start Table to Table?
Table to Table was founded in 1999. Our founder, a woman named Claire Insalatopoulos, had been doing a lot of volunteer work in the community and around the region, supporting people who were facing food insecurity. And she, after a long corporate career, she went to culinary school. And during her time at culinary school, she realized that there was a lot of really good food that was being wasted. You know, she and her classmates would prepare these wonderful dishes and they would all taste them and critique them and then throw the rest of the food away. And having done all of the community work she'd done, you know, to her, that was an unacceptable waste. And so she got a group together that she had been doing volunteer work with, and they founded this organization. And they started with one donated van and picking up food from a Whole Foods here in Bergen County and delivering the food to Hilltop Haven, which is a shelter for women and children in Paterson. And so Table to Table was born. There was nothing like this in New Jersey at the time. And so it was really filling an important need and addressing two big issues at the same time.
Throughout the course of a given day, if you really pay attention, you see that food is wasted everywhere, from supermarkets to even events. Where are you getting your donations from?
Absolutely. There is good food that gets discarded at so many points along the food supply chain, really, right? Starting at farms, where, some produce doesn't get sold or doesn't get harvested, through to wholesalers and distributors and manufacturers, through to supermarkets where there is a fair amount of waste, and restaurants and, points of consumer sale. And then, of course, in people's homes as well. And so we're very fortunate at this point, 25 years into our existence, we have built a network of close to 400 food donor partners at every step along that way. So we work with farms and farmers markets. We work with a lot of supermarkets, Whole Foods, the Insera supermarket, ShopRite supermarkets are major partners of ours, Trader Joe's, Wawa, Acme, they all work with us. We work with restaurants. We work with meal kit companies like HelloFresh. We work with distributors like Driscoll's. We are rescuing millions of pounds of food a year from all of these different sources and then transporting them directly to community agencies that we partner with throughout our northern New Jersey region.
That's a lot of partnerships that Table to Table has. How many people work for the organization to get the food and then deliver?
We have 6 dedicated drivers who are out there every single day. So we have refrigerated box trucks that we use to do the majority of our pickups. They are truly incredible road warriors, our drivers who are out there loading and unloading these pallets of food, redistributing the food to then make sure that the right types of food get to the right community partners. So we're very careful about when we rescue food and see what it is we get, because we don't always know what we're going to get on any given day. So when those pickups happen, the drivers and the team then make decisions on where are the best places to bring this food to get the right food to the right community members. We work with community agencies that do food distributions of groceries. We work with partners that cook meals in order to serve in like a community kitchen. We work with shelters. We work with group homes, daycare centers, senior centers. So we don't just want to drop off food at the closest location. We want to make sure that the food we're delivering is a match. And so that is largely the responsibility of the drivers. They are absolutely incredible ambassadors for our work, and they know our partners so well that they're able to make those thoughtful decisions.
How many people exactly in New Jersey are affected by food insecurity?
It's a lot higher of a number than many people would realize. The estimate is that close to 1 million people in New Jersey are struggling with food insecurity. And I think what's important to remember is that food insecurity doesn't look the same from person to person. So, sometimes we have this idea of what poverty looks like, and we think about, somebody who has no home and is, maybe sleeping on a park bench or under an underpass. And certainly that exists in our communities. But there are also so many people, so many families who are working, who are really struggling to make ends meet, who just barely bring in enough to pay their bills. And unfortunately, food, and especially healthy food, is often one of the first things that gets sacrificed if somebody is struggling financially. So altogether, we are talking about close to 1 million of our own neighbors who don't necessarily know where all of their meals are going to come from. And at the same time, we have close to 3 billion pounds of food being thrown away in New Jersey every year. And that's why we do what we do.
Say that number again.
3 billion pounds of food being thrown away each year just in New Jersey is the estimate.
Unbelievable. Oh, it's such important
Right.
work that you were doing. So you say 1 million, another staggering number of New Jerseyans are impacted by food insecurity. I have to imagine that number grew a ton during the COVID-19 pandemic.
It certainly did. COVID, of course, had a significant impact on so many people in so many ways. And I think what's been especially startling and challenging to navigate is that now, in the aftermath of the pandemic, it's actually gotten harder for a lot of people and a lot of families to have enough resources to make ends meet. Because during COVID, for those first couple of years, there were supports. There was money flowing through, the various relief programs that existed. There were moratoriums on evictions. There were relief programs in place, but as those got pulled back, as the pandemic came to an end, it left a lot of people in very difficult positions. Inflation and rising housing costs and all of these other things that sort of really started to come into play late 2022 through into now, just have left a lot of people just barely making it. So food insecurity has been on the rise in our state, and we hear it from a lot of our partners. Their lines are getting longer. They're seeing more and more people, people who will say, I've never had to seek this kind of help before, but I just can't afford to feed my family right now.
Typically, when you think of food donation, you're thinking inner city, but more and more you're seeing that the suburbs in the Garden State have this need.
I was visiting one of our partners in Englewood, and this gentleman who started this distribution, he started it in 2021 to meet this sort of rising need and this rising demand. And he has hundreds of people come every Tuesday to their weekly distribution. People walk up to receive bags of groceries. They come through in their cars, and then other organizations in the area will come and pick up anything that's left in order to then take it back to their own communities for distribution. So we dropped off close to 18,000 pounds of food at that distribution center. That is right now, as we speak, getting handed out to probably 800 or 900 people. And then the rest will go to other smaller organizations right around Englewood. So this kind of need is everywhere around us. It's in all of our communities.
Heather, I'm sure you're hearing so many success stories on how these donations help impact people on such a personal level.
Absolutely. I mean, we hear a lot that having access not just to reliable food, but healthy food makes such a difference for the people that we are able to serve through the work that we do. The majority of what we pick up and deliver is fresh, is perishable. Last year, we rescued more than 23 million pounds of food, and more than 60% of that was produce. So those fresh fruits and vegetables, along with dairy products and protein and the kinds of foods that are more expensive and more difficult to get at a typical food pantry, really make a difference for the people that we are serving. We hear particularly from a lot of our partners that serve families with children, how much it means to them to be able to give their kids fresh fruit and vegetables. We hear a lot from senior programs that the healthy foods that we are able to provide are helping seniors to maintain better health. And we've heard from some people that, being able to save on their personal budgets by having access to this kind of food at a community distribution then allows them to spend their money elsewhere. So we have heard stories of people who then can afford to move into an apartment because they over time can save up enough to do that. Or they're able to buy a used car so they can get to work. We also hear from our community partners that because they don't have to spend so much of their donated money on food, because we're providing that for them, they can then redirect that money to other really important community programs. So we have a partner who was able to open up a computer lab for the community and provide assistance with, job search. We have a partner that was able to add a financial empowerment program and bring in a financial coach to work with people coming in to get the food. We have a partner in Newark that runs a wonderful program for grandparents raising grandchildren. We provide food, and then he's able to use his resources to bring in other partners who provide different services to these seniors and children.
Table to Table is celebrating its 25th anniversary. How are you marking this milestone occasion?
Obviously, it's a big moment for us, our silver anniversary, and we are incredibly excited. So our number one goal that we're working towards to celebrate and commemorate this is hitting our highest total ever of pounds rescued. Our goal this year is 25 million pounds in celebration of our 25 years. And if we reach that, which I know we will because our team is incredible, that will be the most that we've ever done in a single year. And then one of our big events that we have coming up on September 25th is our 25th anniversary Chef's Gala. So the Chef's Gala has been our centerpiece fundraiser since we were founded. And we have always had amazing relationships with chefs throughout the community who have supported our work, who have been involved, who have been ambassadors and champions for what we do. And so it's been a great tradition that we're excited to continue and grow this year. We are, in celebration of it being our 25th gala, we are bringing in 25 of New Jersey's best chefs to be a part of the event. But it is not a tasting event. It is still a sit-down dinner, multi-course dinner. There will be chefs stationed throughout the ballroom, essentially personally cooking for each of the tables. So every table will feel like they're having their own personal dining experience with the chef right there tableside in this grand ballroom as everyone celebrates together.
Wow, I need a ticket to that. I've never heard of a gala being set up like that. That is so much fun.
Yeah, we're very excited. You can go to our website, tabletotable.org, and we'll have it right on our homepage. So click and buy those tickets. I do anticipate that this is going to sell out. So this is something I'd encourage people to get on quickly before we run out of space.
Yes, that is going to be the hot ticket of the fall for sure. So if you cannot get a ticket, how can people watching support you?
So there are two wonderful ways that I would encourage everybody to get involved with Table to Table. One is by becoming a food rescue hero volunteer. So I've talked about our trucks that are out on the road every single day. In addition to that, a few years ago, we added another layer to our food rescue mission by introducing our iRescue app. And the wonderful thing about this app is anybody can download it. Anybody who has a driver's license and a vehicle can be a food rescue hero. Essentially, the app works like Uber Eats. Once you download it and you sign up as a volunteer, you'll see a map or a list of all the different available rescues all through the region. And you can download that onto your phone and you can become a food rescue hero as frequently as you want.
Heather, finally, before we wrap, how did you get involved in Table to Table?
I have been working in the nonprofit world for pretty much my entire career. It is very much a calling. And I have been in particular working in sort of the social services area and with organizations that focus on feeding and nourishing people through pretty much my whole career. I started my career at City Meals on Wheels in New York. I worked at Eva's Village in Paterson, which has a wonderful community kitchen, among a number of other programs. I worked for an organization called NorWestCap out in Western New Jersey, which runs a food bank, along with a number of other programs. So a lot of my career has centered around feeding and nourishing people and knowing that it is so, so important. Whatever somebody is struggling with, if they don't have access to good food, and they're worried about where their next meal is coming from, it's incredibly difficult to figure out what the next steps might be. It's hard to think about getting a better job or building up your financial savings if you're not sure how you're going to feed your family this week. And so this cause, this mission has always been very near and dear to my heart. And I live in Essex County, which is one of the communities that we work in, one of the counties we work in. And so having the opportunity to come do such meaningful work right in my own area, in my own community, just meant the world to me. And I'm very, very proud of what we do and incredibly proud to be part of this team.
Heather, thank you so much. It was a pleasure getting to know you here today and the beautiful mission of Table to Table. We could thank Maria Sinopoli for bringing us together. She's great. What an ambassador you have in Maria. And best of luck to you. Happy anniversary. And maybe we'll see you at the event if I can get out of my house.
Yes, get a babysitter. Line them up now. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks, Heather. Thank you for joining me on another episode of Your New Jersey. I'm Lisa Marie Falbo. We'll see you back here next week.